What's going on, people? LP2000 right back at you with another X-Plus figure review. Yes. Welcome back once again to Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews on behalf of Summit Kaiju. You know I gotta represent Summit Kaiju, right? That's how we do things around here. Yes, welcome back. And once again, I have another X-Plus figure review this time. And yes, I'm loving this figure set. I really am. Today I will be doing the X-Plus 25cm GMK Baragon and Mothra set, Ric Exclusive set from their favorite sculptors line. As you can see, I have the beautiful figures here, as well as the box. You know how we do things around here. Let's get into the box before we get into the figure. And this is basically it with the box. Just a plain cardboard brown box with the silhouette of the figures up on the front. Favorite sculptors line, you know, Mothra 2001, Baragon 2001, you know, from the highly popular epic kaiju film from the Godzilla Millennium series, GMK, Godzilla Mothra King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Attack. My favorite film of the Millennium series, and my wife's favorite film. So let me give a huge shout out to her. You know, I'm gonna dedicate this review to her because she loves GMK, just like I do. Actually, I think she loves GMK even more than I do. And I didn't think that was possible, but yeah, huge shout out to Sandra. Love you, babe. Yes, so that's pretty much it with the box, you know. Just simple, simplistic, you know. That's it. And these are basically the figures. Yes, Baragon and Mothra from GMK. Yes. The final monsters to be released from X-Plus, because we've gotten a GMK Godzilla, a GMK King Ghidorah, and finally we got the last two remaining monsters of the four to complete the set. And let's go into the backstory about these figures. It came up for pre-order late last year. I forgot which month it was. But it came up for pre-order and they were released mid-January. And like I said, they're from the favorite sculptors line. To give a little backstory about that, from what I've gathered, the favorite sculptors line is basically a new line that X-Plus is going to be doing, where basically they're going to just pick monsters from existing famous monster kits like Monster Maker 28 or Goro and stuff like that, like really special kits, and just basically use that kits to make vinyl monsters. That's basically what that line is going to be. It's kind of like a special line. I view this line kind of like the Gigantic and the Sakai's, you know, special lines. So I'm looking forward to see what else they have in store for us in the future. In addition to this set, they just released the Death Ghidorah, the 25cm, which you probably can see back there in the corner over here. As a matter of fact, don't y'all miss seeing this part of the room. I know that when I do reviews, mostly it's on the other side where you see the bulk of my collection. But every now and then I do get the itch to come on this side, so just to show these guys some love. You know, the Gigantic 62 Ric, hey Blue Boy, and the Gigantic GMK Blue, and the Megazord, and all the good stuff. So yeah, I'm showing y'all some love today, okay? So stop tripping on me. But yes, the favorite sculptors line, I'm really looking forward to it. In addition to this, like I said, they have made Death Ghidorah, you know, and also they're going to release a new GMK Godzilla 2001, because these are from the Monster Maker 28 kits, as well as the GMK King Ghidorah, which I have. I have the kit, which X-Plus used that kit to make the GMK King Ghidorah vinyl figure out of. So to complete that line, there is another GMK Godzilla from the Monster Maker 28 line, and X-Plus is going to use that to complete the set. And I'm looking forward to that, you know what I mean? So yeah, when these came up for pre-order, I initially passed on it because at the time they announced the Gigantic Ultra 7 that be coming out around the same time, you know what I mean? I got the review up on my channel, it's in the archives. Please check it out if you haven't done so. Gigantic Ultra 7, love that figure, and you should too. But I knew that when they were announced the pre-orders and they both announced the GMK Baragon Mothra set and the Gigantic Ultra 7 set, I knew that they would be coming at the same time, right? And I knew that if they were going to be coming in January, that would have been right after the holidays and stuff like that. And you know, after the holidays, you know, we're kind of like lacking on funds, at least most people. Even more so in my case, because after the holidays, I had my daughter's birthday, my mom's birthday, you know what I mean? There were a lot of stuff going on. So I knew financially I couldn't get both because I didn't want to be hit with a whole bunch of payment invoices at the same time. And then you're struggling trying to figure out how you're going to pay for these. So I know I can only get one or the other one. So I opted to get Gigantic Ultra 7. And I just prayed and hoped that I would probably find one of the GMK Baragon Mothra set in the aftermarket. That really is a huge risk to take because, you know, if you go in the aftermarket, try to find one of these things, especially with it being more scarce because it is a Ric Exclusive. It's not a standard release, you know, where it's more accessible to find them. But with Rics in the aftermarket, whoa, they're going to be scarce, and if you do find one, they're going to be up there in price. So I prayed and hoped and I would try and get one on the backside. And lo and behold, I'm not going to disclose the details of what I did to get this set. Let's just say that I was at the right place at the right time and I was able to get it cheaper than what it would normally go for. So hooray for me. Yeah, you know what? And that's a good thing for us like collecting. You know, I call this like a thrill acquisition. You know, I didn't expect to get it. Honestly, I thought by me passing on it, I was like, there was no way I was going to get this set. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to pay the horrendous prices that I've seen on, let's say, eBay. Like, for example, I saw a couple posts, or at least a couple auctions of this set. $450, $550, $650. Whoever you're out there that's doing that, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. I understand you will make a little profit for yourself, but that's just, ugh. Oh, God. Got a little those eBay rapists out there. But I wasn't going to spend that much for it. So I basically put it out of my mind that I was going to get this set. You know, but at the same time, I was online one day. I happened to come across one. I was able to do some negotiation. And it's a win-win for me. So I got the set, you know. So that's pretty much my backstory with this set. You know, I'm loving it. I love GMK. I love the fact that they finally produced these last two monsters, you know, to complete the set. Because that's what I'm about. You know, I love creating setup with my figures if you can do it. You know what I mean? And I really am loving this set. All right, so we do things around here. Let's get up close and personal with these awesome two figures from the Favorite Sculptors line, the 25cm GMK Baragon and GMK Mothra from obviously GMK. All right, let's go. Okay, folks, here we are up close and personal with the GMK Baragon and GMK Mothra 25cm set from the Favorite Sculptors line, courtesy of X-Plus. Woo! Try saying that 3 times fast. But yes, these are perfect representations of the GMK Baragon and GMK Mothra. Like I mentioned, they're based off Monster Maker 28 kits, and they have an exact likeness to their kits. You know what I mean? Let's first focus on Mothra. Mothra looks really good. You know, the color, the sculpt is on and popping with this figure. I've even seen folks on the X-Plus Collectors Facebook group and other Facebook groups that I'm a part of on Facebook that was saying that if they were to get their hands on this set, that they would have tried and just get rid of the Mothra. Cause I know Mothra is kind of like overexposed in certain movies, and some fans are not too high up on her, and so they were willing to let that one go. I mean, because really, honestly, a lot of folks consider Baragon to be the main draw of the two. And maybe he is to a certain extent, but to me, I love Mothra, you know what I mean? Even though I do feel, like I said, that she has been overexposed in certain movies. But this version of Mothra is really exquisite, and is really a beautiful Mothra. That's one thing I always say about the Millennium series, that they have beautiful Mothras in GMK, Tokyo SOS, especially Final Wars. Even though I think Final Wars and Tokyo SOS had the same type of Mothra, the adult version, but the Millennium series had great looking, beautiful Mothras, and I'm glad that they were finally able to get this out to us. At first I had an issue with the eyes, because the eyes are kind of like, it has like a purple hue to them. I'm trying, yeah, you see that? It has like a purple hue to it. And at first, I thought that wasn't accurate, you know, because when I watched GMK, I watched GMK recently in preparation for this review, and in certain scenes when we do see Mothra, there are times where her eyes are like glowing blue. But I have to say, there are certain scenes in certain lighting situations where they do come across purple. So I stand corrected. They did get that right. You know, it just depends on what angle you're looking at Mothra as far as her eyes. One thing I love about Mothra also is you'll see in size comparison when I bring up the GMK King Ghidorah and the Sakai 2001 Godzilla, that her legs right here, they're made of vinyl, but they're kind of like a little flimsy. Not, you know what, flimsy is a bad word. I say they have a little bit of give here versus having like sturdy vinyl where you can't really bend them, you know. And it's perfect to go behind Godzilla's neck. Which honestly, that's where this Mothra came from. It came from Monster Maker 28 kit with the version of Godzilla that X-Plus is going to be issuing next month or releasing next month. And in that model kit, Mothra is attached to the back of the head of Godzilla. Remember that scene when Godzilla and Mothra come across each other in the city before King Ghidorah comes in, and Mothra is trying to hold on to Godzilla in the back of the head before King Ghidorah pops up out of the ground, and they try to take him down 2-on-1, you know. So you can actually attach this Mothra to the back of Godzilla's neck, which you'll see in size comparisons in a few seconds. But other than that, great likeness of Mothra. The wings, the coloring is just awesome. And also her antennas here. You can also move the antennas. They have a little give here. You can move them back and forth. Her mouth can't open, but whatever. It's not that bad. Actually, like I said, I love this version of Mothra. My only maybe issue with this is maybe the stand is kind of like lackluster. There's nothing like no green foliage or buildings they could have put on the base, which leads me to, believe that it's probably better to attach this Mothra to the back of Godzilla's neck. You know what I mean? To have that setup, which you saw earlier in the intro, and you'll see again in size comparison. But the stand, it's okay. You know what I mean? It's not, you know, it's not extravagant. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's, you know, it's just there. You know what I mean? Just there to keep her up. But I would like to have seen like maybe like put like a little building here or foliage here, or something like that. Like they have done with past Mothra figures, like, you know, with the 64 that had the egg with the little grassy area on it, and the original Mothra had her little tablet that had her symbol on it. But it's no big deal. So Mothra, yeah, I love it. Love it. Love it. Now we go to Baragon. Once again, Baragon. If anything, Baragon is probably more or less the reason to get this set, because this figure, at least the kit of it, I have seen go for horrendous prices on eBay. If you were able to find one. And when you find one, it happens too far in between. You may find one now and it is gone just like that. And you probably won't see another one for like another year or so. Because this is really a sought after kit from Monster Maker 28. Monster Maker 28 did an amazing job with this sculpt. They captured Baragon perfectly, and X-Plus has done a great job by that sculpt, you know. Dark brick red coloring all over his body, has a little light yellow on his horns here. You know, translucent horn right here, as well as the same color. Well, actually, I take it back. It's not the same color on his claws or his foot toes or his toes. It's kind of like a darker shade of like a yellowish bone white, dark bone white. But on the top of his horns here, the horns on top of his head, excuse me, has a more of a brighter yellow. But still, great likeness. His eyes have like a little dark red eyes with black pupils. The teeth are sculpted really well. Let's see his abdomen here. Yes, looks really amazing. Even the scales on his back, very reminiscent to the Showa Baragon. So yeah, this is so awesome. Like I said, Baragon is probably looked upon as the reason to get this set. You know, and you know what? We've seen this before. Remember when they came out with the Baragon Destroy All Monsters set with Varan, and Baragon was looked upon mostly as the main draw between the two. History kind of repeats itself, you know what I mean? But I was in no way or no means going to get rid of Mothra. You know, even though I have, you know, my opinion of her being overexposed, but it's just nice to have this version of Mothra to complete the set, because even though you may substitute like the Showa Mothra to complete, you know, the set, it's just nice to have the exact same monster from the exact same movie to create your perfect setup from that movie. And X-Plus has done a great job. They really have done a great job with both of these figures. You know what I mean? I can go on and on about and sing the praises of these fantastic figures, but basically the detail speaks for itself. It speaks for itself, you know. Baragon, awesome. Paint scheme, sculpt. Mothra the same way. Same thing. Sculpt, paint, detail. They have done a great job. Maybe they're a little bit too small, maybe. But still, the detail is there. And I'm loving this set. I'm glad I was able to get my hands on it. And it just goes to show that if you're persistent and if you're at the right place in the right time and willing to do the legwork to get these figures, you're able to get wherever you can get. My only issue with this, I wish that they could have made this, you know, a standard release. Kind of a lot of fans love GMK. You know, they love that movie. And even though this is a Ric Exclusive set, and you know, sometimes there are some people out there that they have no issue getting Ric boys. But for the average collector, or at least a newbie that's coming into this hobby and don't know about, you know, some of the things you have to do to get Ric boys, I just wish that they could have done a standard release, you know, for everybody. That way everybody could have had a chance to get this set, you know. But by being a Ric Exclusive, you know, only a certain number of people were able to get it, and which is fine, but I just wish that, you know, more people had access to these figures, because I don't know when they're gonna reissue these figures again, if they do. My suggestion to that, like, you know, if they were to reissue these figures or at least revisit them, I would say, how about this? Either a Ric Exclusive set or a standard release, maybe like at a Winterfest, something like that, of the Guardian monsters, Mothra, Baragon, and the GMK King Ghidorah. Have them all like in a combined set, like they did with the Son of Godzilla Winterfest set in 2015. Was it 15? No, it was 16. Yeah, it was 16, 2016, excuse me. Had like a Guardian Monster Ric boy set, you know, just to give another chance for collectors to get these figures. You know, this is a suggestion I'm throwing out there. You know what I mean? But yes, great figures. I'm loving them. I'm glad I was able to get this set. And yeah, it basically speaks for itself. All right. So let's do two size comparisons and we'll wrap this review up. All right. Let's go with the first size comparison. Okay, folks, here we are with the first size comparison. And along with the GMK, Mothra, and Baragon, I have their Showa counterparts. With the Mothra 1961 from Mothra, obviously. And this is the Baragon from the Destroyer Monster set that I talked about with Varan. The 1968 25cm Baragon. As you can see, they look well together. And I want to put these four together just to see, show you the evolution between the Showa and the Millennium. You know? Mothra, let's go with Mothra first. Mothra is obviously bigger here because in GMK she wasn't that big as the previous version of Mothra, whereas the Showa here or the Heisei, you know. But they both look good. You know, it's nice that the GMK Mothra still has the tradition of the wings coloring as they do with the Mothra here, you know. But it just shows that they did a good job with their revamps of these monsters, you know. Even though Mothra looks a little bit different, you know, it still has that Mothra, you know, look in the sculpt here. And I also want to just show you, like I said, the size difference between the two, because obviously the Showa Mothra is really big, especially with her wingspan. You know what I mean? But yes, Mothras look great. Showa Millennium. And let's go with Baragon. Yes, Baragon. And I know some folks probably view this Baragon as probably the best Baragon that X-Plus has ever done. Maybe, you know. Actually, I kind of like the 30cm a little bit better, but this Baragon is great. You know what I'm saying? Don't sell this. I'm not trying to sell this one short. But as you can see like the evolution between the Showa and the Millennium. You know, of course, GMK Baragon is not as fat and stout as the Showa one is, but you know, they both look great together. They really do. You know, with the ears, you know, the horn, you know. X-Plus once again has done a great job. You know, the skin texture with the bumps on his legs, his thighs, thick thighs here, you know, has that going on with the GMK one too, as well as you know, his plates in the back of his back. Both of them have that going on. So yeah, it's nice that, you know, they were revamped, but yet they have still some of the core values of why we love these monsters so much, you know? So yeah, that's it with size comparison. Yes, 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 yes. I love it, I love it, I love it. All right, let's go with one more size comparison and we'll be out of here. All right, let's go. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Man, that is what I'm talking about. This is why we do what we do. This is what it's all about. Yes, it is. The full final lineup to one of my most favorite Godzilla films of all time, GMK. And of course, in addition to Mothra Baragon, which we have spent the last 20 minutes talking about, obviously, I have the GMK King Ghidorah Monster Maker 28 kit, as well as the Sakai 2001 Godzilla 30cm from X-Plus. Now, mind you, like I said, this is actually the kit, like I mentioned, for King Ghidorah, but X-Plus used this exact kit to make that figure, to make their vinyl figure of it. And it works. It's perfect. And like I mentioned before, with Mothra here, like I said, you can, if you had, if it's the thing, if you had the Sakai 2001, actually that's the thing. And let me go further about this. X-Plus has made a 25cm Godzilla 2001, okay? They've made a 30cm, you know? The 25 looks good, you know what I mean? But I think the Sakai looks even better. Now, the new one that's coming out, obviously is going to be a little bit, I would think it's going to be a little bit bigger, you know, just a tad bit bigger. But if you already have the Sakai, and if you don't feel the need to spend money on another GMK, honestly, there's nothing wrong with using the Sakai. I've seen some folks say that they're going to pass on the new GMK because they want to see how this set looks with the Sakai. And honestly, it looks great. You know, size-wise, if you OCD about that, Godzilla was not this short in comparison to King Ghidorah. In fact, Godzilla was a little bit bigger, you know, and King Ghidorah was made a little bit smaller, obviously to make Godzilla look even more powerful, you know. But if that doesn't bother you, if the little small size difference, or at least size inaccuracy, I should say, doesn't bother you, then yes, this Sakai works perfectly. And as you can see, I got Mothra not attached, but she is resting well on the back of Godzilla's head, because that's how it was in the film. Remember how I mentioned earlier about her legs being a little bit flimsy, at least they're a little bit bendable, where you can, you know, attach Mothra to the back of Godzilla's head if you do have the Sakai. So you had that option here, versus, like I said, if the legs were a little bit more sturdy, there's probably no way I can get Mothra around Godzilla's head without snapping something off. So I'm glad that X-Plus took the liberty of making the legs a little bit bendable so you can have that option in case you don't like Mothra on her stand. But between that, Baragon, also right here, this is my Ric Exclusive rock base that came with my gigantic GMK Bluefin. So you have all that together and you have the perfect setup to GMK. Absolutely. You know, like I said, if you want the new 2001, I think it's coming out next month at the time of this recording. It's what, March 8th? And I think the new one is coming out in April, probably towards the end of April. So if you still want that, that's fine. But if you're going to pass on it and go for the Sakai, and if you have the Baragon Mothra set as well as King Ghidorah, as you can see, there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with this setup. This setup is perfect, in my opinion. It's great, and it just illustrates one of the best setups ever to a Godzilla film in GMK. So yes, that's pretty much it for the size comparisons. And you know what? I'm gonna go one more step further. You want, because I've never done this since I've gotten these figures. I want to know how the gigantic stacks up with these three. Don't you want to find out too? Okay, let's find out. Okay, folks, this is the last size comparison. I promise you, this is the last size comparison. I know I kind of drown my figure reviews with size comparisons, but like I said, I'm a huge guy. Excuse me, I'm a huge setup guy, and I just want to give you just all the options that you have, or you can put with this Baragon and Mothra set if you do have it. And far as the gigantic, which is pictured here in the middle, you know, I think it looks okay. You know, obviously it's not in scale, you know, from the movie. But then again, it would have been funny to see this Godzilla this big in comparison to the other monsters. And if you thought that Godzilla, you know, steamrolled over his opposition when, you know, in the film, can you imagine if he was this bigger in comparison to the rest of the monsters in the film? It wouldn't have been no film. It would have been like a 20-minute documentary. But I think it looks great. As a matter of fact, when I look at this, I think this sort of reminds me of how the poster looks. You know, remember in the poster, in one poster where you have Godzilla's head at the top, and you have King Ghidorah underneath him, and you have Mothra and Baragon underneath him. With this gigantic, it kind of has that effect. You know what I mean? It kind of has that effect. But even though if the size difference bothers you with this gigantic, you can't argue, or at least can't say that they don't look great together. You know, the visual of all these four together is really, really, really amazing. Really, really amazing. You know, so, but it's up to you. Why don't you pop down in the comment section on what you feel is best, the gigantic or the Sakai. You know what I mean? I don't have the 2001 25cm. I'm just not a really big fan of that sculpt of Godzilla. I have the 30, but in comparison to the Sakai and the gigantic, I think that the gigantic and the Sakai is your better option for, you know, for the setup. The 30cm GMK looks okay, but they could have done a better job with that, you know. But like I said, in between the three, I actually prefer the Sakai first, the gigantic, and then maybe the 30cm. You know what I mean? But either way, you can't. You know, this is an amazing setup. It really is an amazing setup. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's it with the size comparisons, and let's wrap this review up. All right, I thank you so much. I thank you all so much for hanging there with me so far. Like I mentioned, I'm sorry with the size comparisons. You know what I mean? But I just want to get as much information out there as I can. That way you can be better prepared if and when you do find this set online, or if they reissue it. Like I said, I hope they can reissue it. If not, the Baragon Mothra set again. Maybe the entire Guardian Monsters lineup. You probably can throw Godzilla in there too. You know, the new one that's coming out. Maybe down the line they can probably reissue all four in a massive set. You know, maybe charge what you would charge for like a gigantic. You know, I think folks would go for that. You know, I mean, even though it's a little bit expensive, but you know, when you have all these four exquisite pieces, you know, whether it's the Sakai or the new one that's coming out, if you put all four of those in a set, you can't tell me that there won't be folks there to get it. You know what I mean? So hopefully, once again, X-Plus will reissue this set, like I said, and you know, with Mothra and Baragon alone, or they can reissue it, you know, either all four of them or like the Guardian Monster set. You know, King Ghidorah, Baragon, and Mothra. All right, let's wrap this review up. Okay, folks, I'm back with final thoughts of this set. Yes, I love it. I really do love it. I know this is around the part of the video where I normally talk about the film, but actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to do a reprieve. I'm going to give y'all a reprieve on that this time. I will talk about more about the film once I get the new 2001 GMK Godzilla that I talked about in this video. Like I said, it's coming out next month, and when I review that, I'll discuss more about the film. But you already know it's going to be positive. You know what I mean? It's going to be positive. But yes, my final thoughts of this set, get it. If you can find one for a good price, please do so. You know what I mean? It's a great, 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 great set. Like I mentioned before with Mothra, if you get it, I suggest don't get rid of Mothra. You know what I mean? Mothra looks really, really good. Is she as big as the Showa? No. But like I said, she wasn't meant to be because she wasn't that big in GMK. Baragon is awesome. You know, Baragon is awesome. Finally, we got a GMK Baragon. You know, one of the most sought after and requested figures out there. I've seen collectors want for years and years and years and years and years. And now it's finally come to fruition. It's now a reality, you know. Like I mentioned, I just wish that this set would have been accessible to a lot of collectors out there. I know a lot of collectors love GMK. And I know a lot of collectors would have loved to get their hands on this set. You know, I mean, so a lot of folks did. You know, a lot of folks did get the Ric Exclusive. But I just wish that this could have been more accessible to a lot of fans or a lot of collectors. That way they could enjoy and just experience this set. Because this set is really is amazing. And once you put, You know, like I said, either the Sakai Godzilla 2001, as well as the GMK King Ghidorah, where it's the Monster Maker 28 actual kit itself, or the X-Plus GMK King Ghidorah. Either way, you can't go wrong with this setup. Like I mentioned before, I'm huge into setups. I love setups. I love creating setups with, you know, various figures, whether they're from the same movie or not, you know, whatever. I just love creating setups. And finally, this setup is now complete. I'm glad that X-Plus is doing it. I'm glad that X-Plus is on the road that they've been on, you know, trying to get these last remaining monsters, you know, of these films to complete setups, you know what I mean? Like, for example, we saw in the Winter Festival show a few weeks ago that they're going to be coming out with the 30cm Mothra, you know, from Godzilla to Space Godzilla. So you can put Mothra along with Space Godzilla, and I don't know if they're going to make a 94 Godzilla, but you can put the 92 Godzilla with that, you know, and have a great setup there, you know. Like last year, you know, they made a 25cm fourth form of Hydra to go with the 25cm 71, you know. They made the 30cm Godzilla 1975 to complete the last lineup from Mecha Godzilla. And also in the same year, they made the 25cm Titanosaurus to complete the 25cm lineup, you know, of the movie. So I'm glad that X-Plus is doing that. I'm glad that X-Plus is finally getting these last remaining monsters out to us, completing these films, you know, and it gets me really ultra excited to find out what, at least to know, or at least to have an idea, or at least speculate what they may be coming out with next. You know, like I mentioned before, great set. You can't go wrong with it. You know, I love it. And if you can find one for a good price, please get your hands on it. You will not be disappointed with this setup. You know what I mean? So that pretty much concludes my review of the X-Plus 25cm GMK Baragon and Mothra set from their favorite sculptors line, from the highly popular, my favorite film from the Godzilla Millennium series, and my wife's favorite Godzilla film of all time, GMK, Godzilla Mothra King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack. If you have any questions, holler me down in the comment section, or hit me up on Facebook, Mark Calloway. We definitely will go from there. Yes, woo! I'm happy to get this set. Once again, this is a thrill acquisition, because I didn't think I was going to get this set, you know. But it just shows that, you know, even if you may pass on something, you know, if you persevere and you're persistent, you know, and if you just play your cards right, and sometimes if you just have to be lucky, be there at the right place at the right time, you know, then you'll get whatever it is that you want. Like I mentioned before, it's not a question of if in this hobby, it's a question of when. So if you want something that bad enough and you're willing to put the legwork and the research to get it, trust me, you will get it. You know what I mean? And I'm definitely living proof of that. You know what I mean? So I hope you really enjoyed this review. You know, like I mentioned before, I normally talk about the film in conjunction with the review. But like I mentioned, when the new 2001 comes out next month, or maybe the month after that, you know, hopefully there won't be any delays, any production issues. But whenever that comes out, I will bring all these back together again, and I will then talk about GMK. And like I said, it's going to be very positive. You already know that. This is a GMK loving household. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, there are a lot of stuff that's coming. You know what I mean? I got, as you can see, you got Death Ghidorah in the back. I'm going to be doing him, as well as Megazord in the corner. You know what I mean? Just a lot of stuff is coming. And once again, thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the kind, encouraging words. Thank you for just everything y'all have done for me. And yes, right now we're at what, 960? We're going to get to that 1,000. And when we do, yes, I'm going to have something special planned for y'all. You know what I mean? Like a live stream, something like that. But yeah, we're going to get there. And thank you so much for helping me get to this point anyway. I really do appreciate it. You know what I mean? So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And I will see y'all again on the next figure and move review. All right? Y'all take it easy.